You know who else was in Arizona?
Who?
Our very own Billy Beebe, who is joining us right now on the hotline. Billy, welcome home, young man. How was it at spring training?
Oh, guys, it was beautiful. 66 to 70 every day, limited wind, and couldn't ask for much better weather.
Just like here, with the exception of the wind, right?
I guess. I heard it rained here a bunch.
No,
Yeah, just a little
it never
bit,
rains
yeah.
in Northeast Ohio.
Come on. Yeah. Hey, Billy, how many games did you get to when you were out there in Arizona?
I went to 2 games, Friday night and Saturday.
All right. So were you there watching as a fan when you were there, or were you there watching as a media member? How did you take in the game?
I took it in as a fan. It was vacation, so I decided, didn't know how many I'd go or what I wanted to go to, so just decided to kind of go with the fan aspect of it. But, I kind of have force of habit and just try and eye other things that most people, kind of pass over and stuff like that.
All right. So what caught your attention while you were there about this Guardians team?
Well, first off, I really enjoyed the fact that they were willing to play guys a lot. Shane Bieber pitching 7 innings. I think McKenzie was set to go about 7 innings before he hurt his arm.
Now, wait, were you at the McKenzie game? Were you there at the McKenzie game where they took him out? So you black-catted Tristan McKenzie.
Thanks.
JT always blames me for when things go bad. I'm going to blame you, Billy Beebe. You black-catted Tristan McKenzie.
Well, I tried to do it to Zach Plesac, but he did all right. I think, and Plesac, that's another guy that, this is a big year for him, I think. He has to fit in. He has to find a way to be really good. So I went, and I really wanted to go watch him. I went to his outing Friday night and really was not impressed. And I know we're talking about, spring league, and I think half these lineups are minor leaguers at this point, but I don't know, guys. If I had to pick somebody that doesn't make it through the season, Zach Plesac's probably top of my list.
You don't really need a 5th starter, but you have to maybe think that he moves up if Tristan McKenzie is out right now. So I guess the question is this: who else would they consider calling up to take that spot?
Yes, you already have Hunter Gaddis. He was going to start off in the bullpen, but it looks like he'll take that 5th spot. Right behind him is Xavier Curry. And, they saw all these guys last year, I think, once or twice towards the end of the year. Unfortunately, we'll probably have to watch 1 or 2 Pilkington games throughout the first half of the season. And then another Logan Allen is on his way. Logan T. Allen, if you want to call him that. He'll be here soon.
Yeah, and he's a guy that they're very high on and made the prospect list to watch for with the Guardians and everything like that. What do you think of the lineup, Billy? Is there enough pop now that they've added 2 bats that can go yard in Zunino, your starting catcher, and Josh Bell, your starting first baseman or DH, depending on what they do with Naylor?
Yeah, I think there is enough pop. Bell's a huge signing. He's gigantic in person. It is ridiculous. I sat right behind home plate, so I got a good look at him. If the Browns are off to a tough start, they could sign him at tight end or maybe fullback. So we'll keep an eye on that. Zunino, he had a weird shoulder injury that had him out for most of last season. So that really is a wait-and-see situation. I had written a few weeks ago to your guy, Zach Meisel, in his column about Bo Naylor. And, they're just taking things slow with Bo Naylor, but, he ended his comment to me and said, Bo Naylor, they plan on him being the catcher of the future. So they have him in AAA. He's not going to start with the big club, but if Zunino gets off to a tough start, there's really nothing stopping them from trying to get Bo Naylor into the lineup, and that could provide both contact and pop at the major league level. But, I like Bell, and I have high hopes for Zunino.
Yeah, here's what I'll say also about Bo Naylor, and this is a staple of the Guardians organization, and when they were the Indians many years ago, same thing. If a guy is really ready, and there are no questions about him, okay, they're not afraid to bring him up regardless of how young he is. But if there's even the slightest question about him, they want him to go down to the minors because they don't want to waste his eligibility, if you will, right? If he's just going to be sitting on the bench or not doing anything, at the major league level. So this way he plays every day in the minors, and it saves them a year when it comes to arbitration eligibility and things of that nature. And for an organization that is bottom fifth or whatever, as far as money and salaries go, it saves them money in the long run. So your point about Zunino, if he struggles and Naylor's tearing it up, then I expect them to call him up. If Zunino has a good start to the season, and the other catchers, whoever these guys are, and I've never heard of either one of the guys that are the backups right now, Cam Gallagher and Maybreeze Valoria, those guys, they'll live with them if they're playing just twice a week because Zunino's playing well. You understand where I'm coming from?
Absolutely. And what's funny about those two catchers you mentioned, Kenny, and you guys might have hit on this at some point, but those guys are only up so that they can get Will Brennan and Gabriel Arias more at bat, right? So you want to pinch hit those guys more. You need the extra catcher just in case. That's why Valorius is up. I don't expect those guys to do much. I don't expect them to fill in much. I expect, maybe even instead of giving Zunino a day off, there may be days where they say, hey, we're going to play you 5 innings, and then Cam Gallagher, who's more of a little bit of a seasoned veteran, but I'd really like to see Naylor, in the first half. I think he may get up by that point, especially if he hits too well in the minors to keep him down.
Be a lot of fun to watch how this team starts off the season. On the road, they go to Seattle. They come home, they play Seattle. And then right out of the gate, they've got the Yankees at home. Billy, did you get an opportunity to see Josh Bell? How does he look? How does he interact with his new team?
Yeah, he hit a huge homer in the first game I went to. And I was talking with a couple of their fans that had been to games, and they said, and you can watch it on YouTube, the first one he hit during the spring, they said it would have been in the water in San Francisco.
Wow.
It was a total bomb. It's tough to get a dugout feel because when the guys are done, they're allowed to leave. So, they don't hang around and watch the whole game. But, this is a guy that's going to hold a spot for a year. If they can get him down maybe a second year, I think he has a player option, but he's only guaranteed a year here, and they have a big bat in McKenzie Noel, who's kind of waiting, and they think they call him Baby Poppy. So if Bell can fill in for 1 year, maybe 2, and then you get Noel in, I think that's really a great plan for them. Kenny just hit on it. They're not trying to bring anybody up too soon and watch them struggle. So there's a plan for a lot of positions right now.
I'm not worried about guys getting set up and down. I'm worried about injuries. This Tristan McKenzie thing, if this thing lasts 8 weeks, it could be difficult to see what they do because some of the pitchers that we had talked about a couple of weeks ago, Kenny, aren't even in Columbus. They're in Akron. Now, whether or not they'd be willing to move guys up from Double-A to the bigs like we used to see when the Canton Akron Indians were here has yet to be seen because it seems as though they want them to go through Columbus before they get to Cleveland, unlike what they used to do in the past.
Well, and you should know, JT, like I said, they had brought a couple of these guys out last year, right towards the end of the season. The roster expands, but I just think if they bring a guy up now, I think they want him to be up for 10 starts at least, 12 starts. I don't think they want to have to watch him struggle, send him back down, bring him up. I think Gaddis is a good example. If they're giving Hunter Gaddis a roster spot, I think they believe Hunter Gaddis is going to be up at least half the season, if not more. And I think another, it's the same deal for a bunch of these names. Xavion Curry, Peyton Battenfield, Logan Allen, Gavin Williams is our number 1 prospect right now. He's a pitcher. So if you see these guys up, I truly believe they think they're going to benefit towards the end of the season.
Billy Beebe, our guest, and he was just in spring training, taking in the Guardians games out there in Goodyear, Arizona, and, of course, does a great job with our high school football, basketball coverage, calling the play-by-play action, and produces a number of shows here on WHBC. We appreciate him joining us as he is back from Arizona. So what's your prediction on this team? I gave my prediction the other day, Beebe. I said ALCS for the Guardians this year, and Jose Ramirez is the AL MVP. Those are my 2 predictions I'm standing by. What about you with anything related to the Guardians?
Yeah, I like it. I'll go division winners, and I will say they'll win a full playoff series. So that would, I believe, put them in the ALCS. I don't know if they're ready to jump to the World Series quite yet. I'll give you two other bold predictions if you guys are interested.
Go ahead.
First one, we've talked about all these names, right? I've thrown a ton of minor leaguers at you. They have one of the fullest minor league systems in the MLB. I think they cash a chip in and put four of these guys, maybe three of these guys together and go for a bigger move towards the deadline, and I think it will be a pitcher. So that's my first bold prediction. My second is, I tweeted it today, Will Brennan, who I talked about, is our fourth outfielder. I believe he'll be in the starting outfield spot for either Oscar Gonzalez or Miles Straw by the end of the year.
That would suck. Billy, the thing is, what if they make a move now that Tristan McKenzie is hurt now, and they try to get that pitcher at the beginning of the season? And let's not wait until the All-Star break. Do you see that maybe happening?
I don't, because I think they believe, and I believe, that Aaron Savale last year was a fluke. I think they think he's a great number 4, good number 3. I think he'll even things back out if he's healthy. And like I said, they're giving Plesac one last shot, and if he really gets off to a tough start, they've got options. So I don't think to start they're going to make that big move. But I think pitching-wise, we need to get ready to have it be like last year, where you're going to see a lot of names that you're not familiar with, but could be a big deal by season's end.
Tell you what, man, if they don't get Savali on the right track, it's going to be a long first portion of this season.
Yeah, it's very confusing because he was so stable and really, really good. Then he got a blister on his finger, and that kind of messed up his entire season. You know, then he ended up having other injuries, and I think it was all in his head. So if he can get off to a clean start, I always thought he was a great number 3. So if they have him at 4 and getting some good starts, then he'll probably have to do some extra starts with McKenzie out. I don't mind him, and I'm willing to give him, a piece of my confidence for this season.
Well, it's going to be a fun year, and we'll have the games for everybody right here on WHBC with Hammy and Rosie calling the action, and who knows, maybe some Tim Alcorn filling in for Hammy during the regular season as well, and we're looking forward to it. Hey, Billy, thanks for checking in with us. Glad you got to get out to spring training and check that out, and we'll talk again soon, and before you know it, high school football season will be here.
Yeah, hey, no doubt, and I want to remind the fans, the Guardians gave out a $100 million extension today. Let's celebrate it, and let's have a great day.
There he goes. Glass half full, positive vibes from Billy Beebe. Beebe checking in with us here, and he's right. Andrés Giménez, 7 years, reportedly $106 million, or about $15 million a year, for the Gold Glove second baseman who also was an All-Star last year, and based on that, they believe that it wasn't a fluke, that this kid is going to be a middle infielder for them at second base or shortstop for many years to come.
That's what I like about it, too, is you can move him around a little bit in that infield.